Hello everybody, today we are going to learn about standard form. So before we start, what is standard form? Standard form is a way of writing down a very large or very small number easily, okay? Let me give you an example of a very large number. 100 million, 200 million, 375 million. I'll give you an example of a very small number. A very small number will be 0.0056 or 0.000897. Okay, these are all very small numbers. Okay, before we start, standard form has only one equation that you have to remember. This is the way that you are going to write, okay? The equation that you have to remember is simple. A multiply by 10 to the power of something. What is that something? I'll put it as y. So there are two rules that you have to follow. Okay. For A, the first rule you have to know is that A must be bigger than 1. Okay. But it has to be smaller than 10. Okay, so in other words, A must be bigger than 1 but smaller than 10. That is the only thing you have to remember in standard form. Let us try an example. If you don't try example, you won't know how to do, right? How about I put a random number of 270000. Okay, how do I change this to standard form? First, count how many steps are you moving backwards. Okay, in this case is backwards, right? Because you need to make A bigger than 1, smaller than 10. In order for A to be bigger than 1 but smaller than 10, it has to be here, right? The decimal point has to be here. So let us count together. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, so it's actually 2.7 multiplied by 10 to the power of 7. These two values must be the same. Okay, when you're doing your exam, if you have free time, please double check that these two values are the same. If it's not the same, means your answer is wrong. Okay, if it's not the same, means your answer is wrong. Let's try a very small number. 0.000853. How do I change this to standard form? So in this case, you need to move forward, right? The decimal point to make it bigger than 1. So let us count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's 8.53 multiplied by 10 to the power of -4. So okay, before I get to that, always confirm that these two values are the same. If it's not the same, please double check your work. So students always get confused on when is it negative, when is it positive. Let's look at the first example. Let's think of common sense, okay? Now the end result is 27000000. Okay, it's practically a very big number, right? So now the A have become small, right? See, the A have become 2.7. Look at my finger and also my pen. So when the first number becomes smaller, how do we compensate it back? We compensate it by multiplying it by a bigger number or smaller number? By a bigger number, right? That's why the power is positive. Okay, makes sense, right? It cannot be multiplied by 10 power of -2. Then it becomes even smaller, which is not what we want. How about this? The actual number is a very small number, but our A is now big, right? So we need to make the number smaller. By making the number smaller, we have to multiply by a negative power. Okay, Okay, everybody okay with it? Okay, in case you all of you forget, I will recap on the power part. Okay, 10 to the power of 3 is actually 10 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 10, which is 1000. Okay, the number becomes bigger. How about 10 power of negative 4? Okay, 10 power of negative 4 means is moving backwards 4 times, right? So it becomes, okay, look, I do slowly, 0 0 0 1. What is this? I'm so sorry, this is rubbish. Is equals to 0 0.1 2 3 4. Okay, 1 2 3 4. Okay, 10 power of negative 4 is 0.0001. Okay, easy. This is a very short recap, something that you all should know already. Okay, this is how you change it to standard form. But exam won't ask you this kind of question. Exam will ask you on two things. Okay, first thing is multiplication and division. Okay, second thing that they will ask you is addition and subtraction. Okay, always remember, concept is very important. Don't remember how to do the steps, but always remember the concept and always remember the common sense behind it. Okay, if you forget, recap back on what I say about the compensating. Must be bigger or must be smaller? Okay, so now let us try. Let me teach you how do you do a multiplication question. Example, I have 2.5 times 10 power of 3 multiplied by 5 times 10 to the power of 4. Okay, as you can see, I have two sets of standard form, right? Now we are dealing with multiplication. We have two sets of standard form. How do you multiply it together? Very simple. Okay, what you all need to do is do this, because this is the end result that you want to find, right? When it comes to multiplication, you take both A's. This is the A for the first one, this is the A for the second one, right? Take both A's and multiply them together. So you will get 2.5 multiplied by 5. Okay, and in multiplication, the power, you must plus them together. So it's 3 plus 4. Okay, so the final answer that you will get, let me key in my calculator. Okay, 12.5 multiplied by 10 power of 3 plus 4 is 7. Okay, a lot of students will leave the answer like this, but this is wrong. Why? Because standard form, like I've said so many times, it has to be the A must be bigger than 1 but smaller than 10. Yes, this is bigger than 1, but this is not smaller than 10. So for this question, you need to make it smaller. You have to move to the left one side, right? By 1, right? So it becomes 1.25 multiplied by 10 to the power of something. Okay, now think common sense. Now this is the final answer, right? This is the answer, this is the value, right? So now if the first number becomes smaller, to get back the original amount, must this become smaller or bigger to compensate? It has to become bigger, right? It doesn't make sense to become smaller. Then the number becomes smaller. So it moves up by 1 step, which is 8. So that is your final answer for standard form. Okay, now let's try how to do. Okay, I'll leave it here. No, I'll just put it away. Let's do division. Okay, let's have a random number again. Random number of a standard form. Let's put it as 4.8 times 10 to the power of 3. I divide by 2 times 10 power of 8. Okay, so how I do it, let me segregate the question for you again. This is the first one, this is the second one. Okay, this is the A, this is the A. So it's the same concept as multiplication. What you do is do this, multiply by 10 power of something, right? So now what you have to do is, instead of multiplying the number, the A, what you do now is divide the A. So it's 4.8, I divide by 2. Okay, then instead of adding the powers together, you need to divide the number, you need to subtract the power. I'm so sorry. So it's 3 minus 8. Okay, so 4.8 divided by 2, I will get 2.4 multiply by 10. Okay, 3 minus 8, I will get 10 to the power of negative 5. Okay, so now check, is this in standard form? Is bigger than 1? Tick. Is it smaller than 10? Tick. So this is your final answer. Okay, I'll recap back division again. The A you divide, the power you subtract. That's all. Simple as that. Okay, next one we are going to do is addition. Addition is also not hard. Not that it's not hard, it's actually very, very easy. So let me give an example of a question. Okay, both of them shares the same concept, addition and subtraction. How about I take 3.7 times 10 to the power of 5 plus 4.5 times 10 to the power of 6. So as you all can see, for multiplication is just so simple, right? You take the A, you multiply them together or divide them together, then plus or minus the power. For addition and subtraction is slightly different. So what you have to do with addition and subtraction is very simple also. What I'll do first is separate them by putting in brackets, so you know which one is your two equations that you have. So the idea is to make the power the same first. Make the power the same. Okay, this I will asterisk this, so you all know that this is the most important. Can you see it? Make the power the same. Okay, so now you can either change this to 10 to the power of 6, or you can change this to 10 to the power of 5. Okay, choose one. Okay, let's make this into 10 to the power of 6. Doesn't matter, either one you do, you'll get the same answer. Okay, so if I change this to 10 to the power of 6, if this number becomes bigger, this number must become smaller, right? It cannot become bigger, right? Bigger times bigger, it becomes an enormous number. So if this becomes bigger, this one must become smaller to get the same value. So I move up by one step, I move to the left by one step. I repeat again, the power increased by one step, by 1. So this one I must divide by 10. So divide by 10 or move by one step, which is 0.37. Okay, so that's my first one. And then plus, same thing, 4.5 times 10.6. Now that you have the same power, what you do is simply 0.37 plus 4.5. Then you multiply, okay? The A, sorry, that was too fast. The A you plus together, then the power remains the same. Power remains the same. I'll repeat that again. So from here, what do I get? I will get 4.87. 4.87. Okay? Times 10 to the power of 6. Done. That's all. That is all. Nothing fancy about it. That is all. Let's try a subtraction question. Okay, let's use the same value. Why not, right? But instead of plusing, I will divide. Okay, I'll just use a different number for education purposes. How about I take 9.83 multiply by 10 to the power of 9 minus, hold on how do I think of a number? 7 minus 77 times 10 to the power of 5. Okay, that looks complicated, right? If it looks complicated, means it's good. It's a more challenging question. So the whole idea of this is to make the power the same, right? So I can either make this 9 into a 5 or make this 5 into a 9. So like what I taught you just now, always put in the brackets so you know what you are dealing with. Okay, let's make this into a 5. Or you want to make this into a 9. Either way is the same to me. Okay, let's make this into a 5. Okay, if I multiply by this, if I change this into a 5, this becomes a smaller number. Must this become bigger or smaller to get the same value? I think I've repeated this about 4 or 5 times. This one must become bigger, right? Because this becomes smaller. If this become bigger by how many steps? By 4 steps. Okay, 9 drop to 5 is 4 steps, right? So this one also must go up by 4 steps. Means 10 to the power of 4 must increase 4 times. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, times 10 times 20 times 10 times 100 times 1000 times 10,000. Okay, 9, 8, 3. Wait, I'm getting confused. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 98300 times 10 to the power of 5. Okay, minus, don't forget to put the bracket, minus 77 times 10 to the power of 5. Okay, so what you do next is the same thing. 98300 minus 77. 98300 minus 77. Okay, then you multiply by the same power. Nothing change. Okay, multiply by the same power. Key in my calculator. 98300 minus 77. 98223. I'll get 98223 times 10 to the power of 5. But is this standard form? This isn't standard form, right? Because this is more than 10. To get it less than 10, I must move 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct? Probably I should use a different color. Pump, 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 pump. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what you get is 9.8223 times. Okay, if this number becomes smaller, this number must become bigger, right? So increase by 4 times, so is plus 4 will be 10 to the power of 9. Answer. There you have it, standard form in 20 minutes. So recap, rewatch the video and learn. Thank you. Bye bye.